right, another episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, otherwise known as episode 5 of me making jokes. Well, it's fourth video anyway, because episode 1 and 2 were in one video. You get what I mean? New Obi-Wan episode means guaranteed video of me joking about some of the ridiculous shit in that episode. It's how I see it anyway. It's kind of what my week is revolving around right now. Alright, so spoilers for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series leading up through episode 5. I'm going to talk about the spoilers in episode 5. That said, where we left off is Reeva left a little tracker on Leia's little pet droid, but apparently it's more than a tracker. It's like a thing that reprograms the droid to have red eyes and be evil. So that's kind of where we are now. They all go to this planet and Reeva tracks them there. It's like, all right, Lord Vader, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna confront them, and Vader goes down and to confront Obi-Wan, and anyhow. Though the episode does start out with an Obi-Wan Anakin Skywalker flashback from before Attack of the Clones. Anakin Skywalker has his Padawan hair, doesn't have his metal hand, which means it's before Attack of the Clones, which also means that it's a scene that really does show the budget of the show being a TV show budget. Because with Mandalorian, you could have fooled me. Anyone shows me a scene from Mandalorian, I'd be like, that's a Star Wars movie. They'd be like, nope, it's actually a show. It was really cool seeing a movie budget in a TV show, and Disney Plus was like, hey, we're gonna have movie budgets on our shows. How cool is that? Pretty cool while you kept it going. It's like when you got to one of the most beloved Star Wars characters of all time getting his own show, it's like, no, TV show budget now. And I say that because it was cool seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor on screen together, and you can tell that like that's what they were talking about. Like Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor in the interviews, they were like, it was so cool being on screen together again. This was no doubt the scene they were talking about, and it's cool to see them have that fun, though it does go to show you that the relationship that actors have with the content is much different than the relationship fans have with the content. Because when I was watching it, I was like, that is cool. You're finally using Hayden in episode 5. That said, that de-aging stuff that the Marvel movies had, you could go for doing that. I don't want to get too reliant on de-aging, but seeing a 40-year-old Hayden Christensen play a 19-year-old, it did, I don't know, I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It kind of made me chuckle. So on this planet, all the good guys are behind this huge steel door, and then Reeva and a bunch of stormtroopers go down there, and Reeva and Obi-Wan actually they talk through this big steel door with the Force, with the aid of the Force. That's where Obi-Wan's like, you're hunting Vader, which leads to a... Right, I guess that pause is all I need to say. Like, I have so many questions about that. All right, so it addresses that she saw Anakin Skywalker in the temple when she was a Padawan. Figured that was the case. Anakin kills her friends, or Vader kills her friends. Vader before he was a cyborg. And then stabs her and was like, I'm sure she's dead. Let's move on. I'll circle around to that in a second, but the point is, Obi-Wan was like, you need my help to take him down. You can't do this alone. She's like, you have no idea what I've done alone. Obi-Wan should have been like, not killed Vader. There is that. In the course of 10 years, I feel like she should have had the opportunity. In the last couple episodes, I've seen opportunities for her to kill Vader. She wouldn't have made it out of the room alive. Other people would have killed her. But the opportunity was there. But I feel like it's someone in her position. She has to weigh it, you know? She has to be like, okay, what are the odds I beat Vader in a fight? 0. All right, so apparently I just have to backstab him when I have the opportunity. She did it wrong in this episode. She does try to do that. What do you think's gonna happen, man? Why not just light the lightsaber where the ignition of the lightsaber goes through them? I mean, The Last Jedi? All right, I'm kind of speeding up. I skipped over a lot of stuff. And I'm about to use The Last Jedi as an example. Here we go. But in The Last Jedi, when Kylo Ren killed Snoke, at least he made it where the ignition killed Snoke. Lighting a lightsaber and then trying to slash someone, that's just like, there's so much time for them to stop you, and Vader stops her. All right, before we get to that though, man, I'm bouncing all around here. I had coffee. That's why. We're gonna go back to them running through the tunnel because the door's open and stormtroopers are shooting at them. Stormtroopers are the worst shots they've ever been, which you could canonically say, yeah, they're terrible shots in Obi-Wan, and they get better. As the Star Wars movies, like by A New Hope, they're actually better shots. I mean, it sounds impossible, but that's the situation. Because, man, this was a narrow hallway, and there were a lot of stormtroopers. There were fewer good guys. Stormtroopers just... Yeah, good guys could have just stood their ground and shot, and a bunch of stormtroopers would have fallen, but all the good guys would have fallen. I've played enough first-person shooters. I know how that is. That was a very narrow hallway. People die in narrow hallways. Even Obi-Wan stopped to help someone like, oh, come on. They're all good. Wow, they really do suck, don't they? Almost like they suck enough for someone to slap a helmet and that would take them down. So just getting to it, you know, Vader lands, and then Reeva's like, all right, I got him in the back, go get him. And then Vader's like tromping down the hallway. This is actually, they did a better job at Vader in here, giving that entrance of him being powerful, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I gotta say, Vader in this series has not had a moment like he had in Jedi Fallen Order, you know? I mean, that was pure big dick energy right there. He hasn't had that yet, you know? And Jedi Fallen Order takes place before the Obi-Wan series, so it's kind of funny that he had that and then just, now he doesn't. Anyhow, he grabs a ship with the Force, which I was like, okay, this is a good display of how hardcore and powerful Vader is. Kind of reminded me of the Force Unleashed, you know? But you do see the CGI in the ship. The fact that the ship looked so just CGI when it stopped and CGI when it fell. And then there was another ship behind that ship that then took off, and Vader was like, you know what? Grabbing ships out of the air was so 7 seconds ago. Like, he just didn't grab it. Why didn't he grab it? Don't give me that shit like, oh, he was wiped out with the Force. It took all he had to bring that ship down. He didn't look like he did. He was just kind of watching it fly away. He might as well have just waved. You can emote that, you know, you can have him kind of hunch over and look at it, like have him look wiped out if he's wiped out. No, he just watches the ship go away that obviously has Obi-Wan on it. And then Reeva comes up behind Vader, like I said earlier, and just strikes the lightsaber and tries to slash him, and then he stops her. And I did also like that it wasn't really a fight. Because I was like, dude, if Reeva fights Vader and puts up a fight, it's like, oh, will she win? I'm gonna call straight up bullshit. This kind of, Vader looked like Darkseid in Injustice too, you know? He looked like he didn't have to try. He looked like Anthony Hopkins in The Mask of Zorro when Antonio Banderas was fighting him, but Antonio Banderas was drunk and he just had no shot at winning. I like that. I like the fact that it wasn't a fight. It was Vader toying until Vader got bored. And then Vader was like, okay, stab. And then the Grand Inquisitor is alive because she got promoted to Grand Inquisitor. And that's when I was like, okay, well, you're probably going down in this episode. The Grand Inquisitor walks in. He lived through the stabbing. Reeva lived through the stabbing when she was a kid. And now she's living through the stabbing now that she's an adult. The only person in the galaxy who's not going to live through a lightsaber stabbing is apparently Qui-Gon Jinn. But Vader was like, you think I don't remember, Padawan? Insinuating that he remembers her when she was a kid. And I have a lot of questions there. I can't find any reason that Vader would remember this girl when he was killing younglings, which implies that he knew that she knew that he was Anakin Skywalker, that Anakin Skywalker and Vader were the same person, which right there, I don't understand how she knew Anakin Skywalker and Vader were the same person. If a stormtrooper called him Lord Vader, that'd be one thing. But all she knew is that Anakin Skywalker killed her friends. And then there was this guy who was a cyborg who looks nothing like Anakin Skywalker, has a completely different name. He's called Darth Vader. And somehow she's like, oh, it's obviously the same person. There are not multiple murderous assholes with lightsabers in this galaxy. They obviously are the same. So though she saw Anakin Skywalker kill her friends, I don't know how she pieced together that this super death cyborg known as Darth Vader was the same person. And I don't know why Darth Vader apparently knew that she knew that and just let her live this whole time. I don't know why he wouldn't have just been like, wait, you know my secret? Inquisitors are kind of a dime a dozen at this point. There are a lot of them. I'll just find another. To be fair, it doesn't say that Vader knew that she knew that Anakin and Vader were the same person. I suppose I'm making that connection because I assume in a world where people with the Force can read the minds and thoughts of other people, Vader would have done that, and he would have seen that, and he would know that she knew. That or Vader's just an idiot. This show's actually turned a lot of people into idiots. I mean, now Bail Organa's an idiot. Why? Because he calls Obi-Wan Kenobi on his little hologram, and he gives verbal evidence of the kids that, oh, he can't find out about the kids and the one on Tatooine. Why would Bail Organa leave that kind of evidence on Obi-Wan Kenobi's answering machine? Even Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad was more careful when it came to the answering machine. Also, why would Obi-Wan Kenobi give that recording device with that evidence on it to rando wannabe Jedi? I mean, the most important thing to Obi-Wan Kenobi, I feel, in this phase in his life is preserving the identity of Anakin's children and keeping that secret from the Empire. So that one day Luke can be trained, the galaxy can be restored. Literally, the galaxy is counting on this secret. And Obi-Wan was like, hey, I don't know you that well, but hold on to this for me. The information on there is arguably the most important information in the galaxy. That's like, I just did my yearly Breaking Bad binge. There's another Breaking Bad comparison coming at you here. That's like Walter White having the lotto ticket coordinates. You know, that's everything that he holds dear It's the culmination of all of his work, is where that GPS goes to. That's like him giving it to Badger Skinny Pete, being like, hold on to that for me. Also, did Bail Organa know that Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader? Because he says in that answering machine recording that he sent to Obi-Wan, he says, oh, something about he can't find out about the kids. So it's like everyone knew Anakin was Vader except Obi-Wan. The funny thing is when Obi-Wan's talking to Reeva and he's like, you can't beat him alone, or he's going to concentrate on me and then I'll help you defeat him. He now knew Reeva's motivation. He could safely assume when Vader comes to the planet, Reeva's going to make her move. And Obi-Wan, instead of facing Vader or helping Reeva, was like, well, fuck her piece. He just gets on the ship and leaves. Though she didn't die, he had to have thought he was leaving her to her death. I was like, damn, dude, 10 years in the desert's made you cold. That's also another piece of bullshit. Like, why didn't Vader kill her? Why didn't Vader kill her in the previous episode when he force choked her? I feel like he would have just snapped her neck. Then in this episode, when she actually tries to kill him, he just, leaves her there? You can at least learn from the past and be like, she lived through this before. Hold on. Now I'm good. But he doesn't do that. He just kind of leaves her there. It's like, I'm sure she'll die from it this time. Then she gets the answering machine recording that Bail Organa stupidly sent to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, for me, being a Star Wars fan watching the Obi-Wan series, I can imagine that it must be something close to how Democrats are, where it's like Democrats watching the Biden presidency. Where it's like, I mean, you knew the mess that it was going to be, but deep down you were hoping for something better, and then it's happening, you're like, oh yeah, those are my fears that I had. So you're not surprised, but you are disappointed. You have two options at that point. You can CNN it and be like, nothing to see here, everything's perfect. Or you can just make jokes at how fucking ridiculous it all just is. Alright, so Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 5. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.